first one I was hit head on.
Wow.
No, can I ask you a little bit about the one about the head on? Like, what happened?
I was in my neighborhood going less than 25 miles an hour, and a 16-year-old, windows all covered in ice and frost, didn't see me.
Wow.
Pulled out and hit me head on.
Now, were you okay afterwards? Were you able to get up and stuff?
I pushed the bike home.
Pissed off, I would say.
took three of us to get the bike out from underneath their front bumper. I pushed it home. We got it to the shop that night. I picked it up from the shop the next morning, and then that was on a Friday. I picked it up Friday night, and then Saturday morning I was over at Lowe's Motor Speedway for a charity ride. I was running 70 miles an hour around the track.
Wow.
Only to find out that my handlebars were bent.
Oh. So how did that affect your riding when you were doing the event? Nothing? Just was bad?
I didn't notice it until I was on my way home.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, hit head on, right back on it.
Now, we talked a little bit about profiling. Now, Johnny, have you ever been profiled at all by anybody? Like, even typical people?
Oh, yeah, kind of, yeah, as a matter of fact, kind of Debbie's mom, as a matter of fact. I mean, they accepted me, but, I mean, they still kind of looked at me, a little different, Like,
I mean, he had hair all the way down the back.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating thing.
Yeah, and he had it pulled back and long.
Now, did you take really good care of your hair, Johnny? Like, was it
beautiful hair?
Oh,
beautiful hair.
Well, jealous.
Curly and me too. Curly and full.
What happened to it?
We cut it.
Well,
and now
that's a story within itself. Okay.
And now he doesn't even.
Let's
want
talk about the hair cutting.
I went 17 years without a haircut. Okay.
Wow.
And Debbie went to cosmetology school.
So I can work with seniors.
Yeah, and she was working. I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway, she had to have a test dummy for her first haircut. And
so you were it.
I volunteered, yeah.
We gave it to Locks of Love.
Yeah, we donated to Locks of Love.
Oh, that's so neat. You guys, I just absolutely just adore the volunteer stuff you guys have done over the years. But I wasn't like cutting it, though. That was the question.
Oh, man.
It really wasn't cut that short. Well, we cut it up.
Did you cry, Johnny?
Well, I was really close. I was really close. But, I mean, the ponytail was about this long.
It was, yeah.
And it was like, I could feel it, It really never affected me until I saw it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like saying goodbye to an old friend,
Well, you've been with it for 17 years.
17 years, yeah, right.
But so, when you met her mom, like, did she treat you physically different at first?
No, it wasn't that. I just, what sticks in my mind is the comment that it was like, you might be. Does he have to dress like one? That was the funny part.
You are one. Don't even have to.
Exactly. Well, that would have been my answer, but I couldn't really do that. She didn't say it in front of me anyway. It was to Debbie later, at a later date. But don't get me wrong. I loved her mom and dad.
Yeah. And, it's hard sometimes with the perception. Like, it's nothing wrong. Like, us talking about this isn't to put Debbie's parents in a bad light. It's just people don't understand the unknown, I think.
Well, she was used to my brother-in-law, who was a sheriff.
Yeah, he's a sheriff.
The way he dressed, riding a bike. Not the way Johnny
was. It's just the stigmas, though. It's just fascinating. I guess stereotypes maybe is the right term.
The stereotype, I think that's a good word.
Girls in my family, so she never really saw a bike until, so it makes a difference.
No, your uncle rode.
No.
Who was the police officer?
Her brother.
My
brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law. Yeah. Now, when he rode, did he do any free stuff on the end, or did he just ride for the police?
I think they just rode for the pleasure.
Yeah, he had his own motorcycle. He wasn't a motorcycle cop.
He and my sister rode with some friends. That was it. I mean, that's what it was about. I don't think he doesn't ride anymore.
It's interesting, the dynamic of just different types of riders. It's one thing that I love sitting down with bikers, because it's all so different. Because sometimes you have people that just do it on weekends, or then you have people that do it full time, and it's like the way of life. It's like the heart of who you are, if that all makes sense.
Well, at one point in my life, I didn't have any kind of. The only transportation I had was a motorcycle, and it didn't matter what time of day, what part of the year it was.
What weather?
Exactly. And that you have to either love it or not.
Now, what happened if it broke down being your only transportation?
Well, it's hey man, can you come pick me up? That was. Yeah, I was on recruiting duty, as a matter of fact, in Milledgeville, Georgia. And every morning I would ride my motorcycle to work.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And I was in the Marine Corps then. But when I came home on leave and got a 30-day extension for recruiter's duty, and that's how I got back and forth to work.
No, you were in Ireland for a while.
Scotland,
sorry. Did you ride over there too?
No, I wasn't there long enough to do that. I got a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But
no, we've talked about that later.
Yeah. And but they ride on the wrong side of the road anyway, so come on, it was tough enough getting used to riding a car or driving a car on the wrong side of the road, not to mention the side that the steering wheel was on, so
really
it was all bass backwards,
Did you meet any bikers over there? I know you weren't there for a long time.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did, and I'm not going to tell you where I met them, because it was a product of why, anyway, we won't go there. That's for another topic. But
another topic.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a certain situation, and I was in.
Yep.
With actual Scottish bikers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Too bad you don't talk to them anymore.
I did try to reach out.
Because you were really good. I gotta say, Johnny, he's been very good with keeping friendships.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's...
Internet helped.
Yeah.
Does it?
Well, yeah, that's another story. But, I've only had a smartphone now for, how long?
2 years.
Less than 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I guess it's been about 2 years.
So, right when you got your smartphone, sounds like you and I
reconnected with a bunch
that's amazing.
Of my Marine Corps friends and a bunch of my high school friends. And, like I said, it's been downhill ever since.
Best downhill ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to go down. You might as well go down with good people.
The way I look at that, downhill is always the fun part. Going up the damn hill is no fun.
I'm out of breath by the time we get halfway there.
Right? Yeah, that's too much like work for my life.
That's right. So, Mike, let's talk about, you mentioned a little situation, though, with we'll go back to profiling real quick, that you had a situation with a police officer that was known to follow. But they couldn't get him out of the police force because I guess that's his job. So they different protocols and stuff where he just kept having a job until he was retired.
They ended up forcing his retirement.
That's fascinating.
He had it out for bikers.
Now, what was the situation without getting any names and stuff? What was your story? You want to tell us a little bit about what happened?
He pulled me over for operating a forward-facing blue light on my motorcycle.
But you didn't have forward
facing. I had
you said
LEDs mounted under my gas tank, pointed down. And he wrote me up, pulled me over, and wrote me up for forward-facing blue light. And being the smart ass I can be sometimes, I looked at him and said, "Those are white lights," and reached under and hit the button 3 times and said, "Those are blue." So then he come back with, "So it has the capability of doing blue lights." And I knew I was screwed at that point, and he wrote me up a nice little impersonating a police officer ticket.
Wow.
That's crazy. Did it look like police lights at all?
You could not see the lights from the front or the back of the bike. They were very dim. You could only see them from the side of the bike.
Yeah.
Wow.
If he'd have been behind me, or in front of me, he'd have never known the lights were on my bike.
Now, was he following you at all?
He was sitting on a side street.
Wow.
That's crazy. But now you got a lawyer, and
got it thrown
was
out.
able to throw it out and stuff.
Yeah.
That's good news.
He got the DA to throw it out before court ever even opened. And then he would sit at bike night, one of the local bike nights. He would sit out on the street and check licenses of people that were coming to bike night and write people tickets.
That's crazy. That's just not okay. I don't know. And this probably happens around the United States a lot, here and there. But I just hope maybe a police officer could learn from that story.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Not sit outside a bike night. Because, bike nights, you people are having a beer, and so, it's a tough conversation. A little bit.
You get to see it for a change.
Too bad it's not a video.
Don't touch
I know.
me. Snotter.
A little bit needs to have her time on.
Absolutely. Need to put her in her time out.
What kind of dog is a little bit, Debbie?
A Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu and Poodle.
So if you hear growling, it's a little bit. And then we have Ralphie, and who's the other dog? Molly. And then we have cats, and the birds are talking too. So we have a whole zoo in here.
Absolutely. I'm the lead gorilla.
Well, I was going to say is that I'm glad you got it thrown out. That was the important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not okay to have that. And you're still riding, and that's what matters. And the guy is nice and retired now.
Got bigger and brighter lights.
Bigger brighter lights.
Yeah, bigger and brighter. That's the way to handle that. Yeah.
Hey, if you're going to get accused of something, might as well go all
on
out.
That's
just,
right.
Go as bright as you can get.
I had a biker up in Virginia that got LEDs on the side, and he didn't realize that it was red, white, and blue. And it would interchange, and he was like, oh, I can't really have that, can I? Because he would put it on for me, and he was like, oh, that definitely looks like it. His bike was a Road King, and it was all white.
Wow.
So it looked like a
blue. Yeah, I understand that.
I've looked into the law here, and I've talked to a lot of officers that are pro-biker, and they've all told me the same thing. As long as you keep them low on the vehicle, you can have whatever color you want. As soon as you start getting up around the handlebars and up high, then they can get you for that. As long as they're low.
That's good.
I used to see a guy all the time, every time I was out at night and stuff, and he ran with blue lights on his bike. And they were all low. They were below the tank and down. Nothing was up high on the bike.
Were they flashing? That's my question. If they're not flashing, you would think it wouldn't be a...
Yeah, they were solid.
Solid's different.
I've got red on mine. Mine's so bright now at light it looks like it's on fire.
I liked yours. Was it that way when we took photographs? Yeah, I liked them.
Kim's is just as bright.
Hers is pink.
Hers is pink and mine's red.
See, I was going through her photos today, believe it or not. I was going through the photos. Or reorganizing them, putting them in the external hard drive, trying to make room. Because I ran out of space yesterday at the Carolinas Throttle thing. I was like deleting photographs, and I was like, oh, I gotta save these before I delete these. Well, so Debbie, let's talk about, you're a good one to talk about, because you've seen both sides of the spectrum when it comes to just civilization. Maybe let me reword this a little bit differently. Hold on. What was the question we were going to do, Johnny? With Debbie was more of a...
Yeah, the difference between the biker side and the civilian side.
Yeah, civilian side.
Yeah.
I guess that's your perception of when you walked in. Like, was this a biker bar that you guys met at?
No,
not
really. It was just a normal bar.
Yeah. It was it was just a kind of like a honky tonk, But it was just like the local bar on the lake, and as a matter of fact, the guy that owned the bar, I don't know if he owned it or he did. He had a motorcycle, and when I came to pick Debbie up, because we met at that bar the next day when I gave her ride that I promised her. And that's how I kind of lured her in. But anyway, I offered her a motorcycle ride. She called me at like 9 or 10 o'clock that morning and asked if the offer for the ride still stood. And I said, by all means. I said, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And I had on a pair of shorts and no shirt and was just finished vacuuming my rug. Got changed and got up there in probably within 30 minutes. I was so excited.
Aww.
But the bar is just a local bar, and we met up there, and the owner of the bar said, if I'd known you wanted to go for a motorcycle ride, he was talking to Debbie, of course, he wasn't talking to me. He said, if I'd known you wanted to go for a motorcycle ride, I'd have took you. Missed out,
he's a
didn't
friend of mine.
you?
I knew him.
I said, you snooze, you lose, brother.
Staking your claim.
Yeah,